Cut through the noise and get real results with SunDried, your guide to fitness and nutrition. I'm Daniel Puddick, and I've spent the last 10 years working in the health and fitness space. Today, with my helpful assistants, we're going to be learning all about protein.
All right, so are you ready to dive in? Today we're tackling something I'm sure you've thought about. Does protein powder really live up to all the hype? Especially if you're serious about your fitness goals.
Yeah, it's a question I get all the time.
We've got a ton of sources to dig through for this one. Articles, research, and even some real-world opinions from a fitness forum.
Oh, cool. Should be interesting.
Our mission. By the end of this deep dive, you'll know if protein powder deserves a spot in your routine.
Sounds good to me.
So you know how most people think of protein powder as just for like massive bodybuilders?
Right, like it's all about getting huge.
We actually need to take a step back and understand the role of protein itself first.
I totally agree. Protein is essential for everyone, not just bodybuilders.
Okay, back to basics. We know protein is important, but what makes it so crucial for fitness?
It's the building block of our muscles, literally. It's made up of these things called amino acids, and there are two types, essential and non-essential.
Oh yeah, I remember learning about those.
The essential ones are the ones our bodies can't make, so we have to get them from food.
Makes sense.
And they're the real MVPs when it comes to muscle growth and repair.
Gotcha. So it's not just about hitting a protein number, it's about the right types of amino acids.
Exactly.
Okay. So is there a difference in the amino acid profiles between like a chicken breast and a protein shake?
You're thinking like a scientist now. Yes, different protein sources actually have different amino acid profiles. For example, whey protein, which is super popular for protein powder, has a really high concentration of leucine.
Oh, leucine, right.
And leucine is key for stimulating muscle protein synthesis.
Wait, hold on. Muscle protein synthesis. That sounds important. What is that exactly?
Basically, it's how your muscles use those amino acids to repair and rebuild themselves after you work out.
So like post-workout recovery.
Exactly. Leucine is like the signal that tells your muscles, hey, time to start growing and recovering.
Wow, so getting enough leucine is like giving your muscles the green light to build themselves up.
You got it.
So is protein powder a faster way to get those key amino acids, like leucine?
Yeah, it can be. That's one of the biggest arguments for protein powder. It's protein in its simplest, easiest to digest form.
Oh, okay.
Your body absorbs and uses those amino acids quickly, which is why lots of people have a whey protein shake after a workout.
Makes sense. It's like fast-tracking muscle recovery.
Exactly.
But before we jump all in on protein powder, what about the different types? Whey, casein, plant-based. How do we know which is right for us?
Okay, so if whey is the sprinter, casein is like the marathon runner. It digests slowly, giving you a steady stream of amino acids over time.
Okay, interesting.
Some people like to take casein before bed to help with recovery while they sleep.
Got it. So whey for a quick post-workout boost, casein for overnight recovery. What about the plant-based options? Are they just as good?
The plant-based protein powder world is huge. You've got pea protein, hemp, soy, even blends of different sources.
Many choices.
It really depends on your preferences, diet, and fitness goals.
All right, so there's a protein powder for everyone. But what about those labels concentrate versus isolate? What's the difference?
You're paying attention. Concentrates have a little more than just protein, some carbs and fats too.
Okay.
Isolates are more processed to remove those carbs and fats, so you get a higher percentage of pure protein per serving.
So isolates are for people who want to be really precise with their macros.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why protein powder is so popular. Seems like there's something for everyone. But let's talk about some concerns too. What about the potential downsides?
One thing people worry about is heavy metals in protein powder.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
There have been studies that found some brands have higher levels of things like lead and arsenic.
Definitely not what we want. How can we make sure we're choosing a safe protein powder?
Check the label for third-party certifications like NSF Certified Sport or Informed Sport.
Okay.
Those certifications mean the product has been tested for stuff like heavy metals, so it gives you some peace of mind.
So check for those certifications. Got it? What about artificial sweeteners and fillers? Are those just about taste or is there more to it?
Well, artificial sweeteners might make your shake taste amazing, but some research suggests they could mess with your gut bacteria.
And gut health is important for everything.
Right. Digestion, immunity, overall health. And some studies have even linked artificial sweeteners to weight gain and metabolic problems.
Oh, wow. Which kind of defeats the purpose of using protein powder for fitness.
Exactly. It's not just about gains, it's about your overall health too.
So much to think about. Let's talk timing. I know there's been debate about the best time to take protein powder, especially around workouts. Is there really a magic window?
It's this idea that there's this short period of time after exercise where your muscles are like sponges just soaking up protein.
Yeah, like that 30-minute window after your workout where you got to chug your protein shake.
Exactly. And for a long time, a lot of us thought that was the key.
Right.
But more research is showing that it might not be that simple.
Oh, really? So maybe we can relax a bit about slamming that protein right away.
Well, getting protein after a workout is definitely a good thing. It seems like that window of opportunity is actually longer than we thought.
Okay, so it's more about consistent protein throughout the day than just that one post-workout shake.
I think that's a really good takeaway. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier with the different types of protein.
Right, like whey versus casein.
Exactly. Remember, casein digests slower, so it gives you a gradual release of amino acids over time.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how it all fits together.
So casein before bed could be a good strategy for muscle recovery while you sleep.
Like giving your muscles a protein snack overnight.
Exactly.
This forum discussion we have mentions total protein intake. What's the general consensus on how much protein we actually need?
Well, it depends on a lot of things, how active you are, what your goals are, even your age.
So no magic number for everyone.
Right. But there are some guidelines. This forum discussion actually highlights a bunch of different recommendations.
Oh, interesting.
Some say to aim for 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, while others recommend going as high as 1.2 to 2 grams, especially if you're training hard.
So adjust based on your goals. Okay, here's something I've always wondered. Does protein powder help you build more muscle than just getting protein from food?
That's the million-dollar question. Truth is, protein powder isn't some magic potion. It's just a convenient way to get more protein.
Right.
If you're already eating a balanced diet with plenty of protein-rich foods, you might not see a huge difference by adding protein powder.
So it's more like a tool for hitting your protein goals.
Yeah, exactly. If you have trouble getting enough protein from food alone, or if you need a quick and easy option after a workout, then protein powder can be super helpful.
Makes sense. It's easy to fall for the marketing hype, but it sounds like protein powder is just one piece of the puzzle.
Totally agree.
And fitness isn't just about looking good, it's about overall health and feeling good.
Definitely.
Speaking of overall health, I saw something interesting in one of these research papers about protein for endurance athletes.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought protein was mostly for strength training and building muscle.
Lots of people think that. But protein is important for endurance too. It helps replenish glycogen stores, which are your muscle's main fuel source during long workouts.
So it's not just about recovery, it's about fuel too.
Yep. And protein also helps support your immune system, which is crucial for endurance athletes who are really pushing their bodies.
Right, because they're more susceptible to getting sick.
And there's even research that suggests protein can affect how your genes express themselves, leading to better energy use during exercise.
Wow, so protein is really a multitasker. That sounds like regardless of your fitness goals, whether you're lifting weights or running marathons, getting enough protein is essential. But is there anything in these sources about how protein timing affects different types of training? Like, could spreading protein out throughout the day be better for some goals than others?
You're asking great questions, and that's where things get really interesting. There's a lot of research now looking at strategic protein timing, not just how much you eat, but when you eat it, and how it can impact athletic performance.
So it's like protein scheduling. I'm intrigued. Let's dig into that.
Our muscles aren't just growing and recovering right after a workout. It's a 2-4-7 process. So what if we could constantly give our bodies the amino acids they need to support that?
So instead of one big protein hit after a workout, we should think about having protein at every meal and snack.
Exactly. It's about consistently fueling those muscle building and recovery processes.
That's a great way to think about it. Is there any science backing up this idea of protein timing? Does it really make a difference?
There have been some really cool studies on this. Some research suggests that spacing out your protein intake throughout the day could lead to bigger gains in muscle mass and strength than having it all at once.
Wow. So even if you're hitting your daily protein goal, how you spread it out could matter.
And it's not just about bigger muscles. It might also help you recover faster from workouts, have more energy, and even improve your metabolic health.
Okay, I'm convinced. This is like a whole new level of protein strategy. But let's bring it back to our listener. What does all this mean for them? How can they start using this protein timing idea?
It's actually pretty simple. Just start being more aware of your protein intake throughout the day. Instead of having most of your protein in 1 or 2 meals, aim for a more even distribution.
So like protein portion control throughout the day.
Exactly. Think of each meal as a chance to fuel your muscles. Have some protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about snacks?
That's where you can really get creative. Instead of sugary or processed snacks, choose protein-rich ones.
Like Greek yogurt, hard-boiled eggs,
Right.
nuts, yummy, and easy ways to get more protein.
You got it. And if you're still struggling to hit your protein goals with food, protein powder can be a great supplement. But remember, it's all about making small, sustainable changes to your diet that help you reach your fitness and health goals.
This has been an amazing look into protein. We've busted some myths, dug into the science, and learned a lot about protein timing. I feel like a protein pro now. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with something to think about. If timing protein strategically throughout the day can affect muscle growth, recovery, and energy, what about its role in our overall health and how we age? Could spreading protein out more evenly throughout the day help us in other ways, like maybe with things like blood sugar or how our bodies age?
That is a super interesting question, and it's something scientists are looking into more and more.
So we already know protein is important for our tissues,
Yeah.
but could it also be connected to things like insulin and how our cells repair themselves?
There's definitely some research that suggests that, yeah.
For example, I read a study about how having protein with every meal could actually improve your insulin sensitivity.
Yep. And if you have better insulin sensitivity, your cells can use glucose better, which can give you more energy and might even lower your chances of getting type 2 diabetes.
So protein isn't just about building muscle. It's about keeping our metabolism running smoothly too.
Exactly. And some researchers even think that a steady protein intake could help prevent muscle loss as we get older, which is a big deal.
That makes a lot of sense. Protein is what our bodies are made of, so if we don't have enough of it, things can start to break down.
It's like we're giving our bodies the tools to stay strong and healthy even as we age.
This whole deep dive into protein has been amazing. We've busted some myths, learned a ton about the science, and even discovered some new ideas about protein timing.
And it all goes back to that question we started with. Does protein powder really live up to the hype?
Right. What we've learned is that protein powder isn't some magic solution. But knowing more about how protein works, the different types, when to have it, and what it does in our bodies can help us make smarter choices about our fitness and health.
It's about moving beyond the idea that protein is just for building muscle and seeing how important it is for our overall well-being.
So to everyone listening out there, I want you to think beyond just the grams of protein you're getting.
Find those delicious protein-rich foods you enjoy and use protein powder when it makes sense for you.
Try different ways of spreading out your protein intake and pay attention to how your body feels.
Remember, protein is more than just a number on a label. It's fuel for a healthier, stronger you.
And as always, keep asking questions, keep learning, and never stop exploring what your body can do.
Until next time, happy training.